Yo, what it do, people? Shout out for tuning in. This is These Biko. This is the lies they tell us. Shout out for you guys for tuning in. Shout out for everyone subscribing, commenting, showing love. Really appreciate it, guys. So yeah, guys. This is basically where we break down the illusion. We just breaking down all the things that don't make sense and making sense out of it. The truth, guys. The whole truth, nothing but the truth. Like, yeah, let's just hope you're ready for it, you know. So yeah, guys, in this video, we're gonna be basically talking about where we at, like what's going on, what's really happening, you know. So yeah, guys, just gonna bring you guys to this now moment, get you to be present, be calm. I hope you're not busy to anything. Hope you're not thinking about a lot, because it's generally happening around like in our space that a lot is happening at the same time, you know. So just always remember that you are you. Everything else is just information and stimulus, you know. So you always interpret that differently. You check. So in your mind, just be calm, relax. You don't have to always take in everything that happens. So what's happening is that we just basically on like an information highway. Like there's so much happening out there, but you don't need to be feeling anxious or depressed about it. You just gotta be relaxed and calm. You check. So I'm gonna be talking about the fundamentals of our existence. You check what's really happening at the lowest, at the like simplest level, at the most simplest level. What is really going on? You check. So yeah, hopefully after this video you're gonna have a lot more clarity. And if you do, just tell me if it makes any difference or it doesn't, or should change the subject matter altogether. So besides that, cool. When you talk about the fundamentals, you're talking about who you are and where you are, right? So the situation right now is that you, right, a person, you're a natural person, you're experiencing everything that's going on around you. You were born, you were created. You might not remember everything from that point, but from the point that you were created going forward, right, you've been experiencing a whole lot of other stuff, you know. So when you were born, who you are, I've explained this before. You haven't checked out the first video about, you know, who we are, what's really happening, I can explain it again, but I recommend you check it out, right? We have a body, we have a mind, we have a soul, right? So when we're still born, when we're created, we come from the spiritual union of two people actually making love. From that actual process, your life starts to begin, right? So your body starts being created and houses you and basically becomes your home, or the person that's able to navigate through your temple, you check. And after that, literally every experience you've ever had after the 9 months you've been formed within your mom's womb, right? You basically start to have what we call a mind, right? And a mind is basically like a reserve of all this information and experiences you've ever had. Like that's your mind, you check. So every experience you've ever had, every feeling, every sort of information that you might not understand or do understand, that's where it goes. Then you have a spirit, guys. Spirit is basically all that is at the deepest part of you. It connects you to like higher entities of different levels, you know, because in nature, basically everything is infinite and it's always existing and it always perpetuates forward, you know. So because there's a natural thing called growth and process, you know, you become a part of this whole thing. So you kind of like graduate to each stage of living, you know. You don't live the same way for eternity forever, you know. You just go through these experiences and stages until you become ready to go to the next, you know, level and step, you know. So yeah, guys, so in your body, guys, naturally you were just a body. The main thing you need to do to make sure you stay here and you don't do anything wrong is not to neglect your body, your mind, and your spirit, right? Your body needs food to eat, you need to be sheltered for and taken care of, you know. So those are the main things. You need to protect this vessel, this temple, right? Because that's what actually becomes like your property, you know, your home. Like that's what actually you need to like always make sure that it's in good condition to be able to uh, allow it to grow and be able to reach points like that you'd always want to reach to, although you may not see it, but like there's a whole lot going on, guys. But like in this experience, it's all meant for growth and the continued expansion of nature and the universe, guys, because nothing has to be limited, everything just expands, you know. Life is basically like a plus. It's not like a dot where okay, it just happened, it's over. Nah, creation is a continuous process, and what's crazy is that now as humans we've gotten to a point where we actively like, at the frontier of our evolution. We're able to break down our limits and become more than what we were, instead of just becoming an animal, just a person basing decisions on their instincts and just on survival. We're able to do a whole lot more, we're able to experience art, we're able to experience meaning, we're able to contemplate our existence, we're able to try new things, bring stuff forth, unlike other entities which is basically just receive everything that's there. We're able to bring, we're able to create, you check. So that's a dope thing, So basically, also what happens, since you are also a natural person, what happens when you were born? There's this document, right? And this is me talking about the system now. So the system right now is happening is that when you were born, you get this document called the birth certificate, right? So this birth certificate is what we call your store man. If you want me to actually clarify more on this point, I definitely send you a copy of a book. I don't mind emailing it to you or sending you over WhatsApp. It's a book that I recommend you read. It actually explains what the system is and what that document really does. So yeah, guys, this birth certificate, right? It's a paper that's issued by the government, right? So every single person that's born has a straw man. So you have a natural living person that was born, and there's a paper or particular document that kind of certifies them and makes them a part of the system, right? So that's why everywhere you go, you always need to provide this document, or this is before you're 18, this is when you're born, right? And what this document does basically, it gives the government the right to take you away from your parents, because whatever they read, yes, this thing is legal, like this is legal, but it's not lawful, because the system is a government, it's companies and private owned people. So what happens is naturally you can't own things, you can't finish things. It's like, how do you own like the land, or how do you have to prove that you're alive? You literally exist, you're able to do what you want, but because we live in a space where there's people who want to make sure that everything is controlled and regulated and restricted so that they can have ownership, have an authority. So yeah, there's certain groups of people that want to have an authority about how things is run and how things is done. So yeah, so there's good and bad to everything, there's pros and cons. So in the system, when you're born, obviously this paper, after you're 18 years old now, you're given what you call an ID number, right? This birth certificate already has that code, right? This numeric code, which basically makes you like a particular product. I'm not trying to make this in a bad thing way, but it makes easy to be able to track you down, keeps records of your existence, so actually as proof. It'll be like, okay, this person has gone through certain things, certain stages, because during the system, when you grow up, you're gonna be an individual. You need to be able to be identified and be tracked. And it's gonna be hard for, you can't control people who are just free and just doing whatever they want. So now what this kind of system does is that, okay, this person with this particular ID number, it mentions that, okay, this person has gone to school maybe, or has done these particular things, or broken the law, regulations, which is not a person that's able to, like, fit for society or whatever. So they class you. What they do, like, the system basically classes you and grades you and actually decides what kind of person what kind of lane you play in. Like, that's how it is. They just get people's lanes decided them for. If you're not conscious enough as an individual, you have to rely on authority to tell, okay, this person is who you are. And that's not real, guys. That person on your birth certificate is not really you, but because the processes that you go through and where you are, that's just basically like records for the system, not you. That's how they classify you and identify you as. That's why people get treated differently if they got a matric or if they got degrees or diplomas. So it's classism. That's the whole concept of classism. That, okay, this is the poor, this is the middle class, this is the working class, this is the upper class. So you get certain privileges that other people don't have. Otherwise, if you don't have that, everyone is on the same level. So the system is not based on equality, guys. Obviously, it's hierarchy. There's an authority. Like, you don't just wake up and do what you want. Like, you have to speak to someone first, right? But I'm not gonna get into that too deep. The system is just basically a system of control to make sure that, okay, there's regulations and how things is done. But now, obviously, people up top don't want everyone to be free and be doing what they want. So yeah, guys, that's what it is. Like, that's nature is a system. Like, we're living in a 3D space, right? Basically, you have a body where you navigate through your physical senses, right? And through your body, you'll be experiencing a whole lot of other stuff. So during your whole body, because when you're growing up, you've been told a lot of information, right? You had to be trained to speak this language. Naturally, me and you, Like whatever you feel goes. You just, as a child, you have an open mind, but you're very malleable. That's why all of us had to go through school, because we had to learn how these things work. You have to be told that, okay, you have to speak to the teacher. The teacher has to tell you if it's going good or bad. All those things, and that kind of disconnects us from our natural person. So yeah, so a basic short story of the whole video is that you are not what they tell you. That's the first lie. You are your own unique individual. You have more power than you can ever imagine. You are more able. You all the things that I can never mention that are great and good. You check. So you're not supposed to be classified or graded or discriminated. Like the system is not wanting you to win. Although you're born a winner, like you're able to do a whole lot more. Just that you cannot realize your full potential because you're not connected to your natural self. You've been identified to the system, and the system obviously grades people differently. Classes you like, okay, this middle class, they can afford this, they can do that, and whatever you have doesn't uh identify you as a person of value. Value is very subjective, so it doesn't mean when you have this or when you can do that or this what you've done makes you a better person than the rest of us. No, that's not true. We're all equal. That's in nature, but in system, it's classism, it's capitalism, it's different. So yeah, guys, think that's enough. Think I broke it down. Hopefully, I'm not as boring. Hopefully, the lighting is proper. Tell me what you think, guys. Still, comment, subscribe, like, do the thing, guys, because we're gonna be doing the most, breaking down what's really happening. Can't be living lies, guys. Like me, I'm tired. Like we can't be living lies, Bafetsu. Let's waken up. Let's do what we want. Let's realize that we are the power. We are the authority. No external force can tell you that you're not who you are. Whoever you say you is, guys. So shout out, peace out, word.